Hey everybody, did you know you can go to colinmullen.com in order to get art and art prints? That's why I set up the website, colinmullen.com. Hey everybody, so today we're doing a tutorial, and whenever I look at a tutorial I always skip to the end to see what it looks like. So here it is, here's what it looks like. If that's sufficient proof that I know what I'm doing, go ahead and follow along. So, I've got all the paints in the description, just the names of them, because if I were to link out to anything, I would have to link out probably to Amazon for affiliate links, and I don't know, I just don't want to do that, because I guess I hate money, or I hate Amazon. One of the two. I hate one of the two. We'll find out which. Anyway, you'll need some yellow ochre from Golden. I'm using the paints that I had on hand. If you have a different yellow ochre or whatever, you can use that. It's probably fine, but Golden makes very good paint. I'm using Liquitex Basic for the yellow, which is a cadmium yellow deep hue. And I'm kind of putting that in the top right and putting the ochre down at the bottom. And we're kind of like doing wet on wet painting in order to mix those two colors. That way it looks a little bit more natural rather than not. I'm using a squared off brush, but I would recommend using a rounded brush for this. Later on, I realized that that's the case. He's doing a very impressionistic style of brush here. You will also notice that depending on which version of this image you find from the episode, some of the colors and some placements of the image change a little bit. I'm just going to go with this one that I found on the wiki as the version, but that does give you a little bit of wiggle room in case if you screw it up and you're doing this as a gift, you could be like, oh, it looked like that in this one frame, so, you know. So that makes it kind of good for this. Anyway, once you get all that stuff down, you're going to want to add a little bit of white into the splotchy parts, just yellow and a little bit of white, just to blow that out a little bit to give us those nice pops of color in the spots near the nose and the feet. Those are the highlighted parts. By doing this, he actually creates some asymmetry with the form, creating where there is a heavier weight in the top left and a lighter weight, I guess, in the bottom right with the form. It's actually really interesting. The weight is heavier color-wise, but lighter as far as shape and form goes, and then vice versa in the top, which allows it to seem balanced. He's actually good. It's probably because the people who worked on this show are actual artists and are actually good and couldn't turn it off for 5 seconds. They should have probably just gotten someone from around the office, like, I don't know, a scriptwriter or someone who was bad to draw this, but surprisingly, this is more competent than they would have liked, I think. Anyway, once you get done with that, you're going to start adding the Liquitex Heavy Body Bright Aqua Green, which is a kind of teal color. You could also mix this if you have the colors, but it is a greenish blue. It's like my wife's favorite color, and coincidentally, fairly close to be able to get Squidward's flesh color for a majority of this image as the midtone. He actually does do highlights and shadows with this, which is pretty wild. To get the shadows down, you're going to want to mix a, I want to say 80-20 mix of the teal being the 80% and the 20% being the Liquitex Heavy Body Ultramarine Blue green shade. This will mix better with the teal because they're both, on the green-blue side, so they should mix fairly well. This is for your shadows. You might want to put a, closer to a higher amount for the tentacles themselves, but the shading for the underside of the forward leg and the shading for the back arm, as well as on the back of the head and a couple other spots, we'll need that ultramarine blue as a 80-20, like I said. For the highlights that are on, mostly the tip of the nose on up to the top of the head, and then kind of on the front side of the body and the arm that's closest to us. If you look, you'll start to see it, but there's a bit of a highlight, and the highlight I would say is a mixture of again, probably about 80, maybe 70% teal with equal parts of the yellow, the cadmium yellow deep hue, from the Liquitex Basics, as well as a little bit of titanium white from Liquitex Heavy Body. This will give you a slight amount of yellow, which will allow it to incorporate some of the background colors while still remaining true to color. Mess around with the mix a little bit. See exactly where in that range you are. I had to fuss with it a bit, but it's somewhere in the 70 to 80% for the teal, with the remainder being an equal share of each. Moving on to the eye, what you're going to need is obviously some more titanium white because it's mostly white. However, the bottom to right side of it, just as a little bit of orb shading kind of thing going on, has a mixture of white and raw sienna. The white, I would say, is somewhere around the, let's say 90 to 80%, with the remainder being the raw sienna. That way you can get just a little bit of shading going. For the remaining step, you're going to want to get some Mars Black, along with a little bit of raw sienna. Again, this is going to be like a 90, maybe even 95% Mars Black, with raw sienna making up the remaining 10 to 5%. This is just to give it a little bit of texture, a little bit of color that integrates it with the background, as well as just kind of make it look a little bit better. As far as I can tell in the original image, this is going on as well. In order to get it slightly closer to the original, I would highly, highly recommend that you just very, very thinly apply it with the smallest brush you can. In order to get your lines smoother and less sketchy, you can add a little bit of water, like almost like you're doing watercolors, but you know, make it so that way when you put a little bit of water into the paint and you draw it, it comes out super clean and super like slick. There is a mixture of just a dab of water rather than drying off your brush. Just a little bit of water on your brush to improve the flow will give you much better line control as you go around the outside of the image here. As far as like the positioning and all that for my guy, it's a slight amount off. I would say that I should probably extend out his nose a little bit and curve out that angle just a little bit, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Again, here's the end result if you are interested. This is a good like meme present for anyone who cares about this show. It's a stupid joke. It's a good joke, but it's a good gift. So let me know if this video helped, if this gave you any ideas on how you could do it yourself. Again, the items that you need as far as the different colors will be in the description. I would say, like, yeah, I've got one random one from Golden, but honestly, you could probably switch that out with a Liquitex and be just fine. Just try and find a Liquitex that has the same color as that. There should be like a raw sienna or something like that that is in a very similar range, and it'll be a little bit cheaper than the Golden because, yeah. Also, you could switch all of these for basics or all of these for heavy bodies, depending on what your price point is. This is a meme, so maybe it doesn't deserve the nicer paint like Golden than heavy body. Your choice. Again, I'll leave those notes in the description, but that's the reasoning for that. The basics will have way more filler than pigment, which means that it'll take longer, but probably be cheaper for you, even if the result doesn't look quite as good. But cheap is good when it comes to joke gifts, yeah? Anyway, if you did enjoy this, consider dropping me like $5 on Patreon. If you do, on patreon.com/RevScarecrow, you get to be in the credits. That's what these wonderful people did, starting with my mom and dad. I love you. Thank you, Wapfu. Thank you, Toe Foundor. Thank you, Split. Thank you, Sophia Nope. Thank you, Skelecorgi. Thank you, Reverend Joe. Thank you, Pig Wrestler. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Mortis. Thank you, Michael Carr. Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Mario Pereira. Thank you, Kayla Hollinger. Thank you, Katie Valent. Thank you, Josepher. Thank you, Gabriel Bennett. Thank you, Freak Wannabe. Thank you, Egg. Thank you, Chiptune Glitch. Thank you, Bep. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Aggie Wag. And of course, thank you, Ats! It's got to be every video. Sorry about the random shifts in visual quality. I'm going to try and clean it up, and hopefully it's not too bad. But this has been my random tutorial on how to do Bold and Brash from SpongeBob. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want other videos where I do more painting, that's this channel, so subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!